Justice Peace here in Midland. I'm running for re-election to a third term. I've been in office since 2007. I'm running to continue my public service, and that's what it's about for me is public service, serving the people that put me in office, serving my public. It's not about being a judge, because that part will take care of itself. It's not about wearing a robe. You know, that's just a small fraction of our job. I'm running to continue the relationship building that I've started with the county officials and department heads, and to continue working with our youth in our community. That's a passion for me, always has been. We're working with our youth in our community, work with several programs helping to guide our youth in the right direction. And believe it or not, as big as Midland is, as much notoriety as Midland gets for, for their economy and things like that, there's also issues in Midland that really need to be dealt with. And one of them is our juvenile issue, our issues with our juveniles. And that's very important to me. I'm very passionate about that. And I want to continue working with our juveniles and children and families across Midland County. I've been blessed with the opportunity to have a great staff. And because I have such a great staff, I'm allowed to branch out and serve some other areas of Midland County, such as the Teen Pool Board of Directors, and then branch out statewide to serve on the Justice, Peace, and Constable Association of Texas, as well as the Justice Court Training Center. And that helps to train other judges. Been serving on the Education Committee, train other judges, making sure that we're getting the right types of training that's going to affect the way that we do our job for the next several years, until the legislature meets anyway every odd year. So what we're doing now, we'll use for a while. Legislature meets again pretty soon, so we'll use it for now, and then we'll get tweaked again as far as our laws because of the legislative changes and updates and so forth. But I'm running to continue my service to Midland County, my Precinct 3. That's where I was born and raised, in Precinct 3, raising my family in Precinct 3. So I have a passion for my area of town. I want to continue serving all people of Precinct 3. That's where my passion is. And I thank you for continuing to support me, those that have supported me for 7 or 8 years now. So I thank you for that support, and I'm asking for your vote to continue to allow Billy Johnson to be your representative in Precinct 3, Justice of the Peace. Thank you. Justice of the Peace is listed as the Small Claims Justice Court judge. We're the presiding officer in the Small Claims Justice Court. They'll do this on a daily basis. Could any be anywhere from dealing with Class C citations in the courtroom, could be going out from the wedding ceremony somewhere, could be going out in the middle of a highway pronouncing someone deceased. To do this in our job could go from the highs and lows. From, as I said, from 1 minute, we're performing a wedding ceremony. We're out the next minute pronouncing somebody deceased. We could be in the courtroom over small claims or an eviction case. We deal with those eviction cases daily. So our job is kind of like a guy said to me one time, it's as if you would walk into a store and you take off a can off of a grocery store with no label on it. Kind of deal with what's inside. Now, from a day-to-day basis, our job varies. Although we are the presiding officer in Small Claims and Justice Court, we don't take the bench every day. We're not going to be on the bench hearing cases every day. We could be dealing with juveniles some days. We could be, as I said, out on call somewhere. We have to be prepared to do whatever the job entails. And because I have the staff that I have, they allow me the flexibility to do these things. So I'm always allowed to visit with other judges locally and statewide, because we've got legislative changes coming up that we need to be on top of. And so what we're doing now, we're talking to judges across the state. I'm currently serving as District 4 Director. So I'm visiting with those judges across the state to see where we need to go when this next legislative takes up, which will be January of next year. So our job varies from day to day. We're the presiding officer over the Justice, Peace, and Constable. So it varies from day to day.
Successful.
Good question. What has made our office successful is the fact that I've taken those extra steps to communicate, first of all, with other elected officials and department heads. There was no communication in this office when I went in. There was no relationship between the court itself and the Commissioner's Court. We've broken down those walls of non-communication to communicate. And it does not matter what part of town you come from, it does not matter the political party. I made it a vow when I went into office that we're going to communicate. We may not always agree, but we will communicate with one another. And because we communicate, we've opened up those doors. We've been able to improve things in that office that were basically non-existent when we went there. We've improved on the collections in the office. We've improved, first of all, the morale in the office. The elected official, my predecessor, had no relationship with the other courts, JP courts or Commissioners Court. Was barely a relationship with the people that worked in the office. That wasn't acceptable to me. As a public servant, it was not acceptable. So we broke down those walls. Communication has been the main thing to me. Our doors open. I know it's been said that things need to be more open in our office. Couldn't be more open than what they are. We're a court of record, or not a court of record. You can visit that courtroom anytime you feel necessary. We have people come in and sit in on cases sometimes just to see what the experience is like. It may be a small claims case, maybe an eviction case. The court is open. That's one thing that we've done, broken down those walls of non-communication. And I pride myself on the fact that we communicate with officers across the county. Commissioners Court, other elected officials and department heads, communication. My first campaign slogan was, communication is the key. And now we are seeing the results of the fact that communication is the key, it was the key, and it continues to be the key to what we're doing in our office.
What do you plan for the future?
Continuing that communication with the elected officials and department heads, continuing that relationship with our many juveniles in Midland County, with those families that we come in contact with. It's always said that when that child has a problem, there's a family with a problem. So we want to do all that we can in working with those juveniles and assisting those parents in improving whatever the situation may be. We don't have all the answers, but because we have those relationships, some of those answers are just a phone call away. And this cell phone rings all the time, and I'm very accessible. People call my house early in the morning. They're calling me late at night. Judge, can you help me with this? Judge, can you help me with that? Maybe I can't right now, but let me find you somebody that can. That relationship that I've built with the public is invaluable to me. I can't tell you what that means to me, to have that relationship with my public. There's people that call their cell phone that I don't know, but they know the judge, and they know that the judge is somebody that's going to try and help you. If I don't have the answers, we're going to find somebody that does. It may be morning, noon, or night. We're going to get somebody that can help you. We don't have an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday job. That's not what I signed up for. We're on call when we're on call. I was on call last week, so I'm still not rested up from that. We get called out sometimes at 2, 3 in the morning, we go. So to know that I have a relationship with my public, that's very valuable to me. And that's something that I want to continue to grow, continue to work on, is that relationship with my public. Thank you.
Next question is for Ms. Hood. You have mentioned
Is that right? Okay. Being able to serve on the Justice, Peace, and Constable Association of Texas, as well as the Justice Court Training Center and Education Committee, we've met several times. We meet again in April. Now, a couple of the most critical issues facing the Justice Court right now, number one, is another possible jurisdictional cap increase. What that says is the cases that we hear in Justice Court, the value of the cases that we can hear will increase. Right now, our jurisdictional cap is $10,000. That has increased since I first went in office. It was $5,000. It is now $10,000. There was a proposal that we almost got backdoored with in March by a legislator that tried to increase that to $15,000. That was defeated in the legislature in Austin in March. Now, that's a big issue because the more that jurisdictional cap increases for the Justice Court, the more complex cases that we're going to have to hear. We get more of those cases from the county court level that will come down to the Justice Court. So right now, we need to continue visiting with the JPCA, the Justice, Peace, and Constable Association, as well as the Justice Court Training Center, to try to ensure that we keep these small claims in Justice Court as the people's court type setting. That's what we're fighting against, that one. Number two, as far as another critical issue facing the Justice Court, we mentioned that, the jurisdictional cap increase. Another critical issue that may surface again at the next legislative session is what was called the JP Attorney Bill, which came up about 4 or 5 years ago. That was from a representative in the San Antonio area. There was a proposal that all justice court judges, first of all, in larger counties, would have to be licensed attorneys, okay? That was defeated. It targeted larger counties first. We were talking about Harris County, for example, Tarrant County, Fort Worth, Dallas County, Travis County. Now, it targeted those counties first because of their population. We see where we are now population-wise. Had that bill passed back then, we're dealing with that trickle-down effect, so it was just a matter of time before it came down to us. So those are two of the most critical issues, would be the JP attorney bill and then the jurisdictional cap increase that we want to try and fight against the best we possibly can. That answers number one, right? So I still have time on number two? Do I?
What is your experience in dealing with the many issues facing our juvenile population in Midland County?
Juvenile issues that we're dealing with right now, they vary, okay? And my experience in dealing with juveniles, first of all, that's part of my experience with the Justice Court. I served as a juvenile case manager for 4 years, going back to 2003 when I came back to the Justice Court. And being that juvenile case manager, we dealt with cases, the minor possession of alcohol, the minor possession of tobacco, the assaults that were occurring on the school grounds and so forth. Well, because the legislature met last year, there are some changes to the tickets and citations that the school district can file, so we're not getting a lot of these disorderly conducts, the disruption of class cases that we were getting. But we still have an opportunity to work with these juveniles. So what I began doing is working with the juveniles. We worked with a program called Your Choice, okay? Myself and a couple of detectives co-founded that program. We worked with the jail and several other detectives where we ran that program every 2 weeks. We'll give them that experience through the jail. After that experience with the jail, we would debrief those young people. We would have them write essays on their experiences. What did their experience see? What did they see during that experience? What can they change in some of the choices and decisions that they're making, okay? Begin to buy books. I have probably a good relationship with Barnes & Noble. I began to buy books out of my own pocket to give to these young people that would come into my courtroom. Now, you're gonna read this book. And before I assigned the book to a young person, I made sure that I read it myself because I wanted to know that what I'm giving them is appropriate for them, number one. Number two, I wanted to make sure that when they're writing this essay about this book, they're not BSing me, okay? I've read it, I know what's in it, I know what this report should say. And I've told them many, many times, if I don't like it, if it's not good, I'm gonna give it back to you. I'll call you back, you're gonna redo it, okay? A mother told me one time, she said, Judge, I like what you're doing right here. This is a good idea, but my son, he doesn't read very well. That's okay. That's an opportunity for that mother and that child to bond a little bit. Her helping him to learn how to read, that's an opportunity for that family. I've had a couple of teachers call me and praise that idea. The kid brought the book to school, that teacher could also help that child read. So in making those choices and decisions, we're not only helping that child, we're helping that family. And when we're helping that family, we're helping our community. Thank you. I would suggest that it's standing for everybody getting fair shake, everybody getting fair shake. To education, equal rights, housing, everybody in our community is getting a fair shot at everything we're doing. We're not putting some here and the rest here. Being a strong, proud Democrat, you want to do your very best to ensure that everybody you're dealing with is getting a fair shake at whatever's going on throughout your community. In one word, I'm talking about fairness. Another word, equality. Okay? That's where I would leave it at that.
For the Midland Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we want to thank all of our candidates.
What are 3 things in your office that you would change and why haven't they been changed?
3 things that I would change?
Yes, sir. Or what issues are you seeing that you would like to change?
Issue that I would like to change in my office. I would like to have my staff paid more, number one, because I have very valuable staff, and I think they're very underpaid for the work that they do, number one. Why haven't I changed that? I've asked the commissioner for it. You know, we go to budget once a year, so we can't just do that at any time. That's number one. Number two, I would just tell them, look, keep doing what you're doing. When it was said to me before, and this is the best I can possibly put it, we don't want to change for the sake of change. That's not good. So bottom line is, my answer to that, other than paying my clerks more, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the best answer I have to that question.
We have one last question for Susan.